Hi, everybody. This is Sauda from Social Hour with Farah, who did our social hour on Wednesday. And before I start, we just want to say thank you so much for joining us during our session. So, we actually talked after the session and we decided, you know what, we think it would be really cool if we regrouped and we did a demo video for you instead. So that way, you don't have to get through the conversations that we had or try to figure out where things were. But the amazing, fabulous Farah has decided has agreed to do this demo video for us. So that way you can play it, follow along, pause where necessary, try it out on your own, get your hands dirty, and have a whole lot of fun. So thanks for being here with us. And Farah, I'm going to pass it to you.
Thank you, Sada. Happy to be here and sharing this with everyone. I'm going to go ahead and share a screen and we will start with the, let's see. Okay, perfect. We're going to start with actually, I did this last time. I'll share the whole entire desktop so we don't miss anything. And we're going to start with the PowerPoint about where we are going with everything today. Okay. So for today's Code and Coffee, the idea is that as fast as you can think your ideas, you can build them as well. And that is what we're going to work on together. We are going to start with an idea, and we're going to use our Mad Libs that we started with last session, and we'll just change a few words so that we have a new site. Then we will go ahead and code it with our Kira IDE, which is an Amazon product. And IDE, we looked it up. It stands for, let's look it up again, actually, because I know it's a development environment, interactive development environment. But let's go ahead and double check that. We'll just go to our friendly browser here. What does IDE stand for? An integrated development environment. So it is where we do all of our programming and our coding and things like that. And so we are planning to use Kira IDE for that. There's also Visual Code as one. There's also Cursor as well. Once we have our code put together and we're looking at it live on our local machine, we'll be able to push it up into GitHub and then get it deployed through Netlify. So it'll make a little more sense, those terms, if you're not familiar with them. But we'll get the project live on the web. And then we're going to round it out by doing a little bit of content creation and batch processing it so that we can end up with 20 to 30 Instagram posts ready to go out the door really quickly. One thing, let's see, I do want to touch on is the builder mindset. So you don't need to know everything to do this. You just have to start somewhere. And then as you get questions along the way, you just dig a little deeper and get a little help, either from the regular internet or from some chat, and you can get there. So it's just one step at a time. So then, as I mentioned, we're going to use the Kiro IDE. We're going to be using GitHub instead of GitLab, but they're very similar. They do the same kind of thing. It's just a preference. We'll be using Netlify to deploy. Again, Netlify is just one of the ones that we can use. I like Netlify. I've worked with it, but there are definitely some other ones, and we can take a look at that as we're getting into Netlify. And it should say Canva here instead of Canvas, but we'll use the app Canva to do our content. Okay, so what we're going to build is we're going to start with our Mad Libs, which if you're not familiar with Mad Libs, it was something that was really popular a while ago where you have a sentence with these blanks and you don't get to see the sentence. You just get to know what's needed in the blanks. So you supply the blanks, then you put it in your sentence and you end up reading this wild and weird and crazy and fun kind of sentence. And we are going to go ahead and take that and we're going to put it into AI, specifically in our IDE. And that is what is called vibe coding. So we did have a question on like, what is vibe coding exactly? And so the way I think of vibe coding is that it is when you tell the IDE that you're working with, you give it regular language commands about what you're trying to build. It goes, it processes that, and then pretty soon after, lines of code start appearing on your screen. So it isn't so much a vibe like, oh, I'm feeling like this, or I'm guessing. It's actually really quite technical, but the idea is that you can go from your regular words, which we'll create with our Mad Libs, to an actual piece of code that displays your intent. And then from there, we're going to take it live on the internet. And as we mentioned before, we will create some launch content. And so the ground rules in general are there are no wrong answers. That's one of the things we spoke about. That questions are always encouraged, so you could speak up. In this demo, you won't be able to speak up, but definitely jot your questions down so you can remember to go back and research them or pause the video at that moment and go watch a video on it. And that we're all learning together. This is not something I grew up knowing how to do. It's maybe not even something I knew how to do a year ago, but I've just been really working at it, learning new things, and every single day there's always something else new to learn. So I think that if we all take that mindset, we can go really far with it. And that's one of the reasons why I'm so excited to share it with you, because I certainly didn't know I could do this until I did it. And I believe you can all do it too. So let's go, as the slide says, and let's have some fun. Okay, so I'm going to put this one away now, and we will now take a look at our Mad Lib. And that's right here.
So it's safe to say that it takes about maybe like four different tools to get this done.
Yeah, I would say that's fair. Maybe, I mean, plus the internet. So we've got like four different solid applications that we're using, and then we keep on going to our internet or to our AI assistant for additional information on digging through a little bit more.
Pretty cool
Very,
stuff.
yeah, thank you. Okay, so this is our Mad Lib. I'm just giving you a little preview of it. And it basically is something where we're going to fill in the blank and we're going to end up with a weird and wacky kind of sentence. So to help us out along the way, I went ahead and left in the ones that we did together as a group, but we're going to go ahead and change a few things. So that way it's going to be a totally different one. I'm going to change colors because I love blue and red, our Spider-Man colors, but I also love lavender and yellow. Let's have a little fun there. And Sada, can I ask you, what do you want to change? Let's pick something.
Hmm. Let's see. Instead of swims, maybe we can use reads because I like to read.
Okay.
And instead of athletes, right? Because if athletes are at the core, we can probably change the core of it all and kind of come up with something completely different. Um, hmm. What about I don't know, what do you think about something maybe technology related? So like a coder, or a filmmaker, musician? I don't know, something.
Oh, I like musician.
Okay, let's do
Let's do
it.
that. Okay. So we will go for musicians here. Type person, musician. Okay, perfect. And I did realize that my verbs ending in ing were throwing things off, but let's see. I think this looks good for now. So what I'm going to do now is take it over into Google Gemini. And I am going to grab the Mad Libs, and this is just taking a shortcut. This is not actually some kind of amazing use of AI, but rather than me trying to input every word in there, I can just ask it. We'll start a new chat here. Um, okay, here is my Mad Lib, and I'm going to ask it to insert the words that we've come up with. Okay, and here's my Mad Lib. And please insert, I always use please with it. I know it's a machine, but I just can't help it. Please insert the words we've selected.
I think many of our students would agree to not make it angry.
Right? I want a good relationship. I want it to do great work for me. And I also find sometimes it gets to know me and it says, "Great job, Farah." And we have a rapport, so I do appreciate that. Okay, so we're going to see what it comes up with. We might have to adjust a few little things on how the syntax works, but here's the completed one. So create a web app that helps musicians to cook their phones. The app should have a smart design with a color scheme of lavender and yellow. And the main feature is a banana where users can drag and see colorful results displayed as fruits. Include a button labeled Eat This that reads the data and a section that shows 7 wide trees with funny descriptions. This app should feel thrilled and excited, perfect for someone who loves dancing. So I'll change it to should feel thrilling and exciting. But I'm going to go ahead and copy this over and we're going to bring it over into Kiro. One thing I've done here though is I haven't started the new Kiro project. So let's go ahead and do that. And we'll do that by saying File, New Window, and it's going to ask me to open a project. So I have, ooh, or clone a repository. We didn't do that. So we'll stick with the open a project way, but clone a repository is also a way to do it. And so I like to put it here in my Women in Tech folder. So I'm going to say, let's open that. Okay, so now, yes, I trust the author. That's me. Okay, so now I've got my folder open for it, and it wants to know, we can close these things out, that's fine. If we're going to do vibe coding or if we're going to do spec coding. And with spec coding, you'd give it a little bit more of the requirements and the design, a little bit more technical detail about what it should do, how it should set up the architecture. With vibe coding, we're going to chat it out a bit more. So in this case, we're going to put in our prompt and we're going to fix those two words of thrilling and exciting.
You know, I just realized vibe coding actually makes a lot of sense when you put it next to spec coding because it's sort of like you're vibing with it and you're just
Yeah.
seeing where it goes.
Yes, right. So you don't know what
Okay.
you're doing exactly, but you've got some ideas.
And
That's a
you
really good
figured it
point.
out.
Yes. That does shift my thinking about it. Thank you. Okay, I'm just going to close this window back here so I don't focus on it. Great. Okay, and we are going to go ahead and press return and let's see what it makes for us. So right now it's thinking. It says it's going to create a fun and thrilling web app for us. It's got our colors. It knows what we want to do. It's going to do some tree selections. And let's see, while it's doing that, actually, yeah, we'll let it go ahead and do this. But I do want to mention that the next thing we'll do once we have it looking good is we're going to head over to GitHub and we're going to set up our repository. What is a repository? A repository, or we call it a repo for short, is kind of like the folder where your code lives. So right now we're doing our coding on our local machine. Anything I save here, I'm saving into this folder as we saw before in Women in Tech, and it's called the Musician Phone Cooker. It's made a folder for it. Let's go ahead and skip that by break. So that is sitting right there. No one else has access to this. What GitHub allows us to do, and we'll go ahead and take a look at it real quick. Oh, there I am. GitHub, so for example, my GitHub has 20 repositories. So I have 20 different coding programs or coding files here, one for each thing that I've done. So let's see what my repo looks like. Some of these are older, more recent. So 2 days ago, there's our Women in Tech vibe coding one. I also did a Women in Tech page that sits here. I did a barbershop for a friend. So all different kinds of projects can fit here. So we'll be doing a new repo for this one. And this repo will be called the same name as what's come up here, which was, let's see that name again, musician-phone-cooker. Right, okay. So let's take a look at our comments here. And it says, perfect. I've created a thrilling and exciting web app called Phone Cooker, designed specifically for musicians who love to dance. Here's what I built. Okay, eat this button. And you can drag the banana, eat this to see some musical vibes and cooking data. Okay, and it combines. Okay, and now it's telling us this is the important part. To run it, just open the index.html file in a web browser and start dragging that banana around. So this part always gets me a little bit lost. So sometimes I've got to go and ask, how exactly do I open it? Let's see. Do I open it in a web browser? So I do recall I'll need to grab the path and I put the path after HTTP // but I don't mind asking for a little help because it's so easy for Kiro and any other kind of AI to help you out. So I can navigate to this folder and double click on it. Okay, so let's see. So in Finder, let's try that. So let's go to my Finder, navigate to the folder, and double click on this file. Let's see. Oh, and they didn't lie. There it goes. So I really like that way of doing it. But we could also have done a right click and choose browser. Oh, let's see what that looks like. Right click and select open with. Okay, and let's see. Oh, I've lost the instructions. Text editor, text or browser. So let's see. And choose your preferred browser. Okay. And then from the terminal, I could have also typed in this command. Let me go ahead and show my terminal window. So I gone up here to terminal, new terminal, and this is called your terminal window down here. And it's where you can put in commands directly. Okay, so let's take a look at our little baby so far. So this is our phone, our musical phone cooker. Cook your phone with musical vibes, right? And I love the color, the lavender and the purple and the buttons. So I'm going to drag the magic banana. Here we go. And look at that.
Cute.
Crazy things are happening. Fantastic. Let's drag it again. More fruit.
It's
And
so
then
awesome that it makes it so quickly.
isn't it insane? It
Mhm.
almost is. So actually, that's a really good point. One of the things we talked about was, oh, we've got music notes flying up too. Fantastic. We talked about the use of this and could you use it in secure environments? Can you use it at work? Should you use it and that sort of thing? And so my thinking on it is that when I was first introduced to it, I 100% felt like I was taking a shortcut. I'm supposed to do this myself. I just can't just do this and have it do it because I didn't do anything. But in fact, it's actually more productive this way. It's more efficient. This kind of code that it's written is not insane code. It's just boilerplate kind of things like when you do this, then you have to give it a class and you should do that. And so AI is really helpful at doing those kinds of things. And the idea is that you're now freed up to do more of the technical thinking kind of things. So, for example, in this case, it's a musical one. So I would assume maybe somewhere here we want to incorporate some music, but that hasn't been done yet. So that's something I could focus on thinking about is where do I want the music and how do I want to save it? Do I save the music right here in my files, or do I want to save the music in a database somewhere? So there's a lot of thinking about how the things come together that now you could focus on with the help of AI, increasing your productivity to kind of get this going. And then you can always make some changes to it. Okay, so let's see what happens if we press the eat this button for fun. Oh, there we go. And it's given us a phone temperature. And now your phone is perfectly cooked with classical harmony vibes. So we haven't given it any musical files yet, but I assume we could, and we could have some music in the background. And then we've got our dancing trees as well, right? So really fun. It was able to follow along. And one thing we didn't do before was give it a command to change things. So let's say instead of dancing trees, what if we wanted dancing emojis? Let's see if it can handle that for us. Can we have dancing emojis instead of dancing trees? Let's see. Oh, it's giving me the same question as before. Let's see. Okay, but it also says working. Okay. Okay, but at the end it says, now let me update it with dancing emojis instead of dancing trees. That'll be way more fun. Okay, well, thank you for your input there. And then now it's called the Seven Dancing Legends. It's been updated. Salsa Sarah, Breakdance Bob. Okay, so let's come back over here and see. Let's do a page refresh. And there we
Oh,
go,
I like that.
right? Really aligned with the kind of dancing theme. So I think that's really cool what we've got going so far. And now we're going to go ahead and try to get this into Git. So that way, one of the important things about Git is that it's version control. So that means that whatever change you make, Git will store the change and it'll also store the history of the change. So let's say let's say once we commit this to Git and we have the dancing emojis, once we make a change and we say, do you know what? Nope, I want to go back. Let's make dancing trees. So I'll ask it to make dancing trees again. We'll commit that to Git, and Git will now show that we have dancing trees, but it'll also show a history that before this was dancing legends, and this was the code, and this is what was changed. So you can always roll something back, but it also benefits you because then teams can work on it. I can work on a portion and put it up into Git, and then you can pull it down and have the same exact thing that I've been working on. Or you can make changes as well, and I can pull down and see what you've been working on. So that way teams can work collaboratively. So you definitely will need to get to learn Git a bit more once you start coding within a team. So now that I have, in general, I usually do my Git repository first. And then I bring that down into my computer and I work on it and I send it back and forth. In this case today, I've done it a little different. I've started here on the computer already. And so now I want to put this up in Git. So I'm going to go ahead and ask here, how do I add this as a new repo in Git? And then we'll just follow along. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is initialize my repository. I mean, initialize it here to let it know you're going to be a Git repository. So we say Git init. And in fact, so I've typed it in, but I do think that if I come over here and I push play, that Kira will automatically do it for me.
Cool.
Okay, right? So you can't even mess it up with the copy paste. And then as well, it knows, okay, we're ready to proceed to the next step. In the beginning, I would always copy paste. I wanted to do it myself. I'm like, no, I've got to do it. I've got to do it. But it's actually better tracking, I think, if I let Kiro do it, because then it knows what to do. So now it's saying our next command is to git add dot. And that means that all these files that we've just made, I'd like you to please add that to the repo.
I think the two really great things that I'm taking away from this portion are the first is that you can ask it for help while you're doing it. I think that's just such a pro tip because when it tells you to do something, and you don't know how to do it, you don't have to spend a bunch of time figuring that out. You can just say, well, how do I do it in the same exact spot? I think that's just genius. And then the other thing is that I really like the point that you brought about as these things get better and better at working code, we don't have to spend so much time actually coding. You can think about innovation and strategy and what vision you have for what you're doing and let it do those things.
Yes, I think those are two really key things. Like the integration is amazing. I know at one point I worked in chat and I'd copy and paste and bring it back over. And then when something went wrong, I'd be like, let me bring this whole entire thing over into chat and be like, is this right? And then back. And then so having it integrated is chef's kiss amazing.
Hmm.
And having that time, yes, to innovate, to think, and also to move fast on an MVP, meaning that you have an idea and you just want to get something going and you don't want to spend necessarily 3, 4 months figuring out how to build it. In a week, dedicated time, you can have something and you can start testing and learning and seeing if this is the right thing. So we've now added everything you see here. It's called stage changes. And so that means this stuff is ready to go to Git. I like it. It's a yes. So now we'll take this next command, which is git commit -m. So git commit with a message. And this is our initial commit, phone cooker web app with dancing and interactive banana. So yep, let's go ahead and commit it. Okay, and so the commit's really fantastic. And now let's take a look and see. We've got to read through what it's telling us. So now it is a Git repository. We initialized, we added files, and we did the initial commit. If we want to push it to GitHub, we do need to create that new repository and add the remote origin and then push it to GitHub. Okay, so let's see. Create a new repo. Don't initialize with README unless, okay. And let me just double check. What is it going to do? Your username. Okay, so phone-cooker. Okay, so let's do a new repo over here. So I am going to go back to chat because I know that if I don't name it the right thing, it may not connect so well. So new repository name. Okay, so this is my username, farah.c, which will go here, farah.c. And I believe that this should be the name of, oh, let's just do copy. And then I'll take the parts out. We want, okay, phone dash cooker is going to be the name. Phone dash cooker. Oh, good, it's available. I haven't used it as a repo name yet. Right, delightful. Okay, so we don't need to do a description. We'll go ahead and leave it public so anyone can find it. And it did give us a specific instruction. It said, create a new repository on GitHub. Don't initialize with README since we already have one. So here it says, add README. Okay, it's off. That's correct. Okay, so now let's go ahead and create the repo. And that's it. Phone cooker. And let's see, our next step is that we're going to add the remote origin. So what that means is that I've made my Git repo and I have my local code. Now I need to let the local code know that this is the folder where you live in. This is your origin. So that's where this command comes in, git remote add origin. But I've got to just make sure that I take out where it says username and put in my username. So here, for username, I will delete all that and I will call it Farah.c, right? And now before I press enter, I do want to come over here because I do think that, so this is me doing it from my Kiro IDE and using the command line interface, the CLI, which is this terminal window. That's one way to do it. Another way to do it is here. Let's see. Today. There is, if I go maybe to here, let's try that. Oh, there it is. So the quick setup, if you've done this kind of thing. So if you can see here, this is github.com, farah.c, phone cooker.git. So the same kind of thing that we're putting in there right now. It tells you how you can set it up. Or you can create a new repository on the command line, which is what we did. So this is where we are here on this step. Git remote add, and then we're going to do a push. So there's different ways to do things. You'll find different ways. So I would say if you're asking your AI help, make sure you're specific. How do I do a new repo from Kiro IDE? Or how do I do a new repo from here? Okay, so let's go ahead and press enter. Although it's interesting because it's got the .git here, but that one didn't say it. But let's go ahead and go with Kiro's way. Okay, great. So we didn't get an error. We also didn't get anything that says that we've done this right, but no error is also good. And then we do our push to GitHub, this next command. So we'll copy that. We'll bring it down here and enter. Okay, and that's giving us confirmation that, yep, we have a total of 7 items that have gone up there to Git. I say up, I mean, I don't know where it is, but I like to say up. And let's go ahead and look at our code and see if we've got anything in there. And indeed we do. So this is our first commit that we've got in Git, and that is really excellent. We have, let's see, where's our website, our phone cooker. Okay, yeah, there's our phone cooker. So far, so good. I'm going to just take us back for 1 second to look at the PowerPoint and see where we are on things. Okay, so we've used Kiro IDE, the AI-powered code generation that writes for us. We've pushed it up into GitHub instead of GitLab in this case, but you can use either. I have GitHub and GitLab, but I started with GitHub, so I just stuck with it. So version control will check every change you make. And let's go ahead actually and make a change. And then we'll go over to Netlify to get it live on the internet so anyone can see it. Okay, so we did already one change. Let's go ahead and do another change. Let's see, what's a slightly meaningful change we can do? What if instead of a banana, let's go all the way musician on this. Drag the magic piano, right?
I love
Okay.
that.
Okay, cool. Because it's fun to, I really love doing the silly kind, but it's really nice also to do a concept that you're really interested in. So let's say instead of a magic piano, I mean, a magic banana, not bandana, banana, right? Let's use a magic piano. Okay. And let's see. Okay, so it's working on it. And what we're going to see here already, changes just popped up. So in
Mhm.
index HTML, we've got some changes coming. And one of the other beautiful things about the IDE is that it shows you in different colors what's been changed. So red is what was there previously, and green is what's now there. So there's different views. You can change this so that you don't see the red and you just see the finalized kind of thing. But here, instead of banana drag section, it's the piano drag section. And all of these little bits have changed. So let's see, it says, okay, it's working still and doing some more edits. It's also made some edits here in our script file because instead of getting the banana, it's going to get a piano. It's just updating all the terminology so that banana isn't left there. And it's also made some style changes. So it's really efficient at going through everything. I know as an individual coder, it's easy to forget some parts, but that's one of the really great things about the AI help is that it goes through everything and it makes all the changes. So it's still doing a few more. I think we can go ahead and take a peek and see if we've got something. It might break or it might be ready. Let's take a look. Oh, drag the magic piano. And so we've got a question mark here. I'm thinking that's because it couldn't find a really great piano icon, but that's okay. We can leave it like that for now. And let's see. Okay, so it's giving us a little summary of what it's done. So it does think it's found an emoji, and this happens from time to time that a symbol it uses doesn't translate. So you can go back and you figure it out. Okay, where is that symbol? Let me find the right one and sort that out. You can tell it the symbol isn't showing, maybe to choose another one. So it says the piano glows. So maybe we'll have it choose another one, but we'll keep on going in the meantime and have it work on that later. So it has the same functionality and it fits the same. So let's refresh one more time. Okay. And when we click, oh, play this, no melodies to play. Okay, so it looks like some things have broken a little bit actually. Let's have it fix that. The piano icon doesn't show and isn't working. Should we go back to banana? Should we choose another instrument? Or let's go to smiley face. Let's use a smiley face. Hopefully that's something it can find easily. So now it's going to make the changes to smiley face. And what we're going to do is we are going to commit these changes and send them up to Git as well. And then we'll see that Git retains memory of both of the changes. Okay, yep, it says the emoji got corrupted to question mark. So it's even able to see it itself. It's amazing. Okay, so things are changing. Let me try replacing just the class and ID references. Okay, so it's trying a different approach. And again, a little screen break, no issue there. I like to refresh, but then sometimes you don't see what you want to see, but I'm just like, oh, just show me anyways. Okay, still making changes. And oh, it changed to magic smiley. I caught that. Drag the magic smiley. Let's see, still working. Unable to replace text. So sometimes it runs into errors, which is why you still do need to have some coding. You can't just say like, oh, do it all for me, which is another thing I wanted to talk about, which I call it like the quicksand of vibe coding. So for example, one of the things that we may want to do is have a user log in. And if the user logs in, then somewhere we should save their information, their login or their preferences or how many times they've dragged the piano. And so that involves setting up a database. And setting up a database might be a little bit outside of what your IDE can do. It can connect to the database, but you still need to have the idea in mind that you need somewhere to store that information and how to access it. So you can definitely still use AI to help you sort that out. It might not be here. It might be in a regular thing like chat or Gemini, where you say, help me set up a database for this kind of thing and help me connect it in this way. But it's just to say that vibe coding is not going to get you all the way there, full functionality, fully thought out. You definitely still need the human in the loop kind of thing to think things through a bit, right? So it's really nice for the MVP. Get something up, get something going. But you do need to have a little bit of experience to kind of get it all the way further or a lot of time to sit through and work through things. Okay,
Makes
great.
sense.
Right? I think I like where it's going. Now we have the magic smiley. We drag it. Okay, much better. So let's go ahead and commit these changes. So one of the other lovely things, we can ask it here. Oh, so it's fixing a couple more files. We'll let it continue fixing. We can ask it here to commit these again, get them into Git again. But as well, things have changed so lovely that now you can really do it quite easily from your IDE. So what you would do here is push this plus button, and that means stage changes, the same thing as doing the Git add. So I'm just going to plus on all of the changes that we made. And now they're all staged changes, right? And then we want to commit them. So we'll just put a message and we'll say changed from banana to smiley, because you want to keep track of what change you made, because that'll be tied to the changes that show. So we commit that. And the last thing we need to do is sync the changes or push them up. So we push those up and we're confirming, yep, we do agree with that. We're okay. And those are going up. So let's see how that looks in Git now. So we come over here, let's refresh. And we can see that just now we made a change from banana to smiley. And so when you click on those, you would see exactly what was changed in that file. And you can see here. So you could easily go back and change it yourself if you needed to fix something and you have a history of who did what in case something breaks or they want to know who did that, what happened. Okay, fantastic. So now that we have that sorted, let's go back to our IDE. We are going to now do the next fun part, which is Netlify. And I've got Netlify here right now. I haven't even made a file for it. Let's see if we can just go to the home screen. So Netlify is a place that allows you to deploy your website, which deploy basically means to send it to the internet to be shown nicely. So we have it right now locally, and now we're going to add a new project. And let's move that again. And we are going to import an existing project. And this project lives in GitHub. So as I mentioned, there's also GitLab. Looks like I'm not familiar with Bitbucket, and there's also Azure DevOps. So we're going to go to GitHub to pick our project, and it's going to show us a list of projects, but ours is not here. So what do we see? Oh, can't see your repo here. Configure the Netlify app on GitHub. So that means most likely we've got some access and authorization things to configure. So we're going to go ahead and follow along. We'll use our passkey and we are logged in. GitHub is really strong on their multi-factor authentication. They just want to make sure it's really you. And here they give you all the information about it. And then they are going to tell you, this is the area here to add the repository access. So I've got to go here and make sure that the one that we've just done is one of the ones that's allowed to be seen. And I think we just did phone cooker. So phone cooker is now added to the list that Netlify can see. So we go ahead and click save. And now that will give us access to choose phone cooker as one of the projects to deploy with, right? And the beautiful thing about Netlify, this is totally free. It's really great for testing, for fun, for development, because it gives you an actual website. And the only catch is that at the end of the website, it says .app.netlify.com. So it isn't something that you would use for your full app that's out in the world. You'd want it to have its own domain name, but for what we're doing, it definitely does the trick. So this project is called Phone Cooker. Let's see. Oh, it's available. Yay, no one's using Phone Cooker. And we are ready to deploy it, right? Just in case. Wouldn't it have been a surprise if that name was already used? Who could be
It would
using
have been
Phone Cooker?
funny.
Right? Oh my gosh. Okay, so now it is going ahead and trying to deploy. Oh, and turned green. It's already deployed. And let's see, published. Okay, and what we're looking for now is the URL that we want to go to find it. Let's see, so it might be open production deploy. Let's take a look and see. Okay, here it is. And I'm going to drop this in the chat. I'm also gonna, well, I don't know if you'll see the chat. I'll say it out loud so anyone can go ahead and look up this website and you'll be able to find it. So our new app is at https://phone-cooker.netlify.app. So if you go there, you'll be able to see this exact thing that we've just coded now live on the internet. Easy as that, right?
Super
And then,
cool.
isn't it? Yeah, I know. And so one other thing we can do that I want to show you is they're all interconnected. They all know that when I do a change, I want it to show in different places. So let me close this little thing. Okay, no, we're good here. So we're going to go ahead and make another change. And what we're going to see is that we make this change, we're going to push it into GitHub. Netlify and GitHub are such good friends that Netlify is going to be like, oh, there was a change. Don't worry, I'll update and show you that change. So I'm going to say, I love the color scheme. Oh, and want to add an additional color. So let's include Sada. Give me a color. One more. I know.
Um, hmm. So we have lavender and yellow, maybe some kind of goldish or like bronzish.
Okay. Okay. Let's
It's
include
very
a
specific bronze.
yes. So I don't think we'll get gold if we want,
I
because it won't be
wonder.
so metallic. It'll be a little bit more browny. So let's go with, let's include bronze. Better what you said, because I was just going to go with pink. So let's see. Okay, so it's going to add bronze, beautiful warm metallic tone. Fantastic.
Thank you.
And let's see how it comes out. So this page won't see it. This is currently our Netlify. So we've got to go to the one that's on our local. That's the one that's on our local file users Farah. And let's see, let's refresh and see it. Okay, there we go. The color has changed, right? We've added
Looks very
something there.
fallish.
Yes, really in line with the season. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and add this style change as well to GitHub. So we've got it here on the local, got it saved, really nice. Stage the change. We're going to add a commit message, added bronze color. We'll commit that. Okay, did I
I
commit?
think that add button is just magic.
Right, yes. And I didn't add, so let's do, did I? Or did another change happen? Oh, I think that's a great idea. I think it's still working. Let me come here. Oh, okay. Is it committed? Okay, I don't know if I committed, so let's try that again. Added bronze color. Oh, they're still making changes. That's why. Okay, I've got to let it finish to make changes. Two. So this will be a second commit. Okay. Okay. So it's still doing some changes. I think I might have tried to commit too fast while it was still in process. Okay, so now it's done it. It's added it in quite a few places. Okay. And now here we go. Okay, so now everything that's changed, I've added it to stage changes. Add bronze color too. This is my second commit about it. There we go. And now we're ready to sync the two changes. So let's click that. We say yes to that. And this is the one on my desktop. Let's refresh. Okay. And now let's go to the one that Netlify made for us, or the one that not Netlify made. Now this is the deploy version on the website. We can check here in GitHub to see that it was changed, that our last add bronze color was updated. Okay, and that means Netlify knows that that's happened. And if we refresh, let's see, and it got that change through too. So we made one change here, we push it up into GitHub, and Netlify automatically adopted it for us. I think that's pretty
Awesome.
magical.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, cool. And then I was going to touch on a second why Netlify. I do have here some of the Netlify competitors. So there's other alternatives. There's Heroku. I've used Heroku as well. I like it. It's the first one I've used, but Netlify I just found really easy to keep things connected. But there's Vercel, Firebase, all kinds of different things that allow you to deploy. So you just get to play around and choose whichever one you like. Just try a couple different ones.
Are they all as well connected to GitHub as Netlify is?
I do think so, yes. I think that what happened is I didn't understand all those connections when I used Heroku. So I was like, okay, this is nice. Then when I understood more and I worked with it in Netlify, I just stayed there. But I know that the idea in general is that a lot of these offer the same amenities, the same kinds of features, because otherwise you wouldn't use one over the other if one was inferior in some kind of way. So I think they all do have the smartness to connect with your repository and stay updated. And you can also tell it not to do that. Don't change just because I've updated the repository. Because sometimes you just want to keep your repository updated while you're working on it, but you don't want to release it just yet. So you can control that kind of thing.
Good point.
Okay. So now I'm going to come back here to Gemini and we have our, actually, no, let's do this. We have our Mad Lib, but we've changed it a little bit. So I'm going to ask um, Kiro here for, can you summarize this app? And the reason I'm doing this is because I want to know what this app does, so then we can then ask Gemini to help us come up with a content about the app. And so we need like a really good understanding of what it is. Oh, fantastic. Okay, excellent. And I do believe that there is a lovely copy button. Okay, no, not for this. So only when it's got the code in there. So here we'll just select it all. Okay. And then we're going to come back over to Gemini and we're going to say that we've created this app. Please help us come up with content. So here is an app we've developed. Okay. Help me come up with 30 days of content. And then we'll be a little specific here since I've done this before. I want a single quote for each day, and quotes should be around the same length. Because what we're going to do is something called batch processing. We're going to take this list and we're going to pick one style in Canva and we're going to write that quote in each one time. So if we have one that's really long, it's going to maybe fall off of the view of the post. If it's really short, it might feel a little bit skimpy compared to other ones. So if we ask it to keep it around the same length, then we'll have like a kind of similar visual story the whole entire time. And then let's see, let's do it as a CSV file, a comma separated file. We're going to try something that hopefully works out. Okay. Um, so return to me as a CSV file. Okay, so let's see what it comes up with. And in the meantime, I think I'm going to, yeah, I think it's fine like this. We'll be able to open up the CSV.
Yeah, I think this part's really great too. So thank you guys for the feedback that we got from our session on Wednesday. And Farah, actually, one of the feedbacks that we received was that people were super into the marketing aspect that you incorporated into the session because it's just so real. You know what I mean? Like, especially when we think about the future and the small business industry and just entrepreneurship or even just doing something like the fact that a lot of us are doing projects and building businesses and stuff. This is really, really relevant. So it's awesome.
Yay, glad, right? That we can do a whole end-to-end kind of thing so you're not just left dangling and you can kind of see how items can come together. Oh, another screen break. Okay, we'll skip that one. And then tagging on to what you just said. So it's even asking me here, do I want a similar file with image generation prompts for Midjourney or
Nice.
DALL-E? So you could take it one step further there even. Okay, so let's try this one first. I'm going to copy this code. Okay. I think what I'll do next is I'm going to drop this into Pages so I can save it as a CSV. Then I can import it and it'll be sorted out properly in the columns. So we're going to start a blank one. And I would say the first time I did this, I had to do a lot of back and forth and thinking and figuring it out and asking chat. But that's kind of the key is that the first time you're gonna struggle through it. You're gonna be like, ooh, ooh. But then once you get it set up, you know what you're doing and you can do it faster the next time and move through it even better. Okay, so this one looks good as is. And I'm gonna say, let us export. Okay, let's do a save. Let's see if that can let me save untitled. Okay, I'm just gonna save it in my downloads right now and we'll call this phone cooker. Save. Okay, I didn't see the option to export, but I think what I did is I just kind of overrode it. And I just said, yeah, we're going to save it as a CSV. So let's try to do that again. So phone cooker here. Let's see, can I do a rename? No, okay, actually, let's try one more way. Export. Okay, let's try to export it to plain text and see if that lets me then, because it doesn't give me the option here, so that's fine. Okay, we'll save it to downloads. That's cool. Okay, now let's see if it'll let me change that extension. I'm going to just try this .csv. Let's see if that does it. Okay, great. So now it's saying that I'm changing the extension. Yep, I'm going to go ahead and do that. Doesn't always love that, but sometimes a gal's got to do what a gal's got to do. And let's head over here and see if we can open that CSV. Okay, so not in my recents, my drive shared with me, in my computer, and my uploads. Okay, let's drag a file to upload. There it is. Upload. Okay. And has anything happened? Okay, I don't see anything here. Let's try that again. Or let's do an import. That might be better. Upload, let's see. Okay, great. So it's going to create a new spreadsheet and detect automatically the separator type. I could come in and tell it comma, but I think it'll detect it well. And let's import the data into a new spreadsheet. Oh, open now. Okay. Sometimes you just got to pause and read it again. So success and open now. So I probably have created two of them, but that's fine. But great. So we can see here that it has separated it out. We've got everything and they're about the same width, which is really nice. Okay, so now the next fun part is we're going to head over here to Canva. And so I picked story quote as the format that we're setting up. You could just do a regular Instagram post, but I just know specifically that I really like the look of this minimal one. So I'm happy to keep on working with that and try it out. And we are going to go ahead and customize this template. Okay, and then this I didn't mention before. So this does require to do the batch processing, the subscription for Canva, not just the free. The subscription is about $15 a month. And what I do is I just turn it on like 1 month at a time and I do a whole bunch and then I turn it back off. And then when I'm ready to do some more, so you could do 3 months. I mean, as much time as you have is what you can do and then turn it off and go back to it as you need it. So I haven't had it on for like 2, 3 months, but I turned it on for December. So you can play around with that. And what you do is you'll go here to apps, and then you've got to scroll on down to bulk create. So you pick bulk create, and we are going to upload our data, right? Or let's see, can I choose a Google? Well, let's do upload data. Okay. Oh, and then, so I won't do it from here. Actually, so I can't upload it because I haven't downloaded it as a sheet from Google Sheets. So let's see if I can download it from Google Sheets first. Right? Okay, so file, download to Microsoft Excel. That's fine. Okay, great. So now let's go back and upload. And here it is. Right. So, and maybe we could have uploaded it as the CSV since it's shown here. So that isn't something I've done before, but I think that's fun to try out. Okay, so there we go. It's got from A to B31, and here are all of our quotes. And now the fun part is dropping the quotes in. So you select where you want it to go. So in this case, it's this text box that we want to use. You click on the 3 dots, and here you'll see something, let's see, to copy, copy, paste. We want to see something that says insert data. Okay, so I've done something. Let's move the screen up just a bit, make sure I can see everything. Okay, phone cooker. Oh, maybe, oh, continue. That's always helpful, guys. So let's try continue. Okay, there we go. So now that we've added our data, it tells us we have one column called day and another column called quote. So we'll select our text now, use the three dots, and connect data. That's what we're looking for. And that's going to say that what I've selected here, please fill it in with what's here listed in quote. So that's what I've asked it to do. Let's see, just in case, I'm going to change the size of this, make it a little bit smaller, the font itself, so that way these will fit. I'm not sure how long they are. Right? Okay, so we've done that, and let's go ahead and continue. I haven't pushed advanced options before, but definitely someone give that a try and let me know how that turns out. Let's do continue. Okay, it's asking us, do we want to use all of these quotes? Yep, we do. We like them all. Even though we didn't look at them, next time definitely take the time to look through. And we're going to hit create 30 designs. Now, what I would expect is that it shows them all, but in fact, no, there's going to be a little thing there that'll take us to a new page. So we've got to pay attention for that. So here we go. Create 30 designs. Oh, and there we go. One design created and saved to your projects, view design. So I've hit that button like 4 times before, waiting for the new thing to open. But in fact, again, sometimes you just got to pause, look around. Oh, and I lost it. Okay, I'm going to click it again because I know it's there, but there we go. Okay, so here we go. Welcome to the kitchen where phones become musical instruments. Drag the smiley, cue the beat, and watch the fruit fly. So now we've created 30 days in like what, a minute, if even that much of content. And of course, one of the things that makes this really interesting as well is that you kind of maybe want to change the colors of it for each one so that it fits your story. So we go here to, I believe it's brand. Yep. And we've got our color palette. So this is just a color palette I had. I'll go ahead with this one and we click shuffle and it changes the color palette of that one. So then we can pick another one. So you've got to pick each one and edit it. But that's the beautiful part is that you can do this so quickly and have like a really consistent storyline, color, brand feel all throughout by using the same colors, but in slightly different ways. So every day the post feels different. So I think that's one of the really amazing features of this is that you so quickly get to go from having no content to having content that is brand aware, but still has a different feeling with every day. So here's one day, the post. Oh, the next day, the next one, this one, the next day, and it just keeps on going. Really cool, right? I love that part. And
Yeah,
then
that's
as we said,
awesome.
right? And just for a little tiny bit more fun than we had before, let's see here. I'm going to say to go ahead and give me that image generation prompt for the first one for day one. And let's go ahead and see, because we all, I think, have access to Google Gemini with our MDC accounts. And so now it is, I saw the other day that, of course, Nano Banano is one of the Google Gemini products, but it's now a bit more integrated. So we're going to go ahead and say that that's what we want. And let's see. Let's see, how do I do it here? Let's do a new chat because I think I've seen, okay, and we're going to say create an image. Drop that in. And let's see what kind of image it gives us. Right? And so now you can actually choose maybe a different kind of post that allows something for an image. I think in this case, I'm not sure if you'd have to attach each image separately. I haven't seen how to do that yet, but if we go to YouTube, I'm sure there's a video on it. And look at that.
Oh,
Look at
so
the
cute. Look
phone.
at the phone in the bowl.
Yes, right? That's pretty amazing. Oh, where did it go? Let's try that again. Zoom in quick. Okay. Oh, it doesn't want to stay on the screen for some reason. Uh, Maybe it's still generating the image, but there it goes at least. So it is also able to do image generation, which I think is really helpful when you want more than just quotes or words on it. But now you have let's go through everything. You have your code base here where you can make any changes yourself. So we could call it the phone cooker. You can make any changes yourself. And then you can look at it on your local. Let's see, which was about here. Yeah, okay. So Oh, let's see, that didn't change. Let's go back and take a look. Where did I do that? Okay, that's in the title, so not something that you see. So let's change it here, the phone cooker. Okay. So you can make your change anytime and see it on your local. We learned how to get it up into GitHub. So now it lives there forever. If anything happens to my computer, it crashes. My code is always there as long as I stay consistent with pushing up. Anyone else can go and grab this code. If someone wants to, you can find this repo. It's public and pull it on down. And I think you can even make changes to it. I don't mind. We talked about Netlify and how we got it up to show on the internet. So now we can all see it. And then taking all of that, even using our IDE again to help us summarize the app and bring it over into Gemini for that content. That was really helpful with the different CSVs and then getting it in through Canva so that we've got a different post for every day. And then if you want to have more fun, go ahead and use Nano Banano to generate some images and include that in the post or somewhere else. Or maybe you want to do the post story and you want to do an Instagram post somewhere else or anything like that. Right? Pretty amazing. I love it all. I think it's really cool. Sky's the limit. You've just got to start somewhere. And that's really the key is not to get bogged down in what you don't know how to do yet. Just know that with every obstacle you run into, there's assistance at your fingertips within moments to help get you through. And there certainly have been times where I've just taken a screenshot and been like, I don't know what to click. Where
Mm,
is that? How do I do that? And sometimes it says, oh, it's changed. This is the new version. Check here instead for this. So really, there's always help along the way. The idea is just get started, do something, do anything, and see where it takes you.
right, just vibe with it.
Yeah. Did you plan that? That's amazing.
I did
That's exactly it.
it.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to say thank you so much, Farah. This has been an awesome, amazing demo, and thank you for your time. I'm really happy that we were able to do this demo. I think it's going to be great for all of you guys who are following along with this video. Please feel free to reach out to either of us, right? Me, myself, an email or LinkedIn, or Farah, add her on LinkedIn. You can just search her first and last name.
Yeah.
You're making you a celebrity. And and just tell us what your experience has been like. And we do intend to plan a couple of these through EnTec and Women in Tech for the spring semester. And we're hopeful towards one in person as well. So we will keep you posted on all of those updates. And again, I just want to say before we stop recording, thank you so much, Farah, for everything.
My pleasure. My pleasure. I'm happy to share what I know. So I'm not an expert in any of this. I'm just like everyone else, but I've just been playing and having fun, and I want everyone else to play and have fun too.
Thank you so much. All right, we'll see you guys next time.